Hello again, Chris the Dimurch here, with my opinion on how we can stop the world crisis on energy, water, and hunger. Sit back, fasten your seatbelts, and listen. Right now, the world runs off oil. This crude little mineral created from the dead carcasses of plants and animals, and pressurized over the course of millions of years. Do you really honestly think that's going to last forever? No. Either it's happening now or it's going to happen in another 20 years. We're going to start reaching our peak with it. It's time to start finding new sources. My vote is on solar. We have an entire desert out west owned by the government. Why not fill every inch of that land with as many solar panels as we can that would power half of the US, if not more? We take every large city, New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, there's Boston, what's the southern one? Atlanta, Birmingham. Take all of them, have them start putting solar panels on their roofs. They will get sunlight throughout the whole day. They actually do this in Europe, by the way. I think it's in Germany that there's a town where every building in town has to have solar panels on it. They produce more electricity than they use currently. If every major city did that, they could power themselves and the area around them. Now, solar panels, you say, are expensive. They're getting cheaper every year. It's becoming a more and more viable, more and more common sense tactic to start moving towards solar energy. The sun's not going to disappear until like 4 billion years from now. Water is also a viable solution, but I think solar is better off for it. Can you imagine in the blueprint of every home, every single home has to have built into it that 3 sets of solar panels, enough to power that house. Just the power of the average house. Any more than that, they have to buy some extras, or they have to get it off the extra from the grid. And that would reduce your power cost tremendously. And if you get even more, it will reduce it down to 0. Why don't people think of this? And the invention of solar roadways. They produce their own electricity. We have so many options here, solar-wise, that we could power not only ourselves, but Canada, Mexico, and continuing south, and probably even reach a line to Europe. Using this method, we could potentially power the whole world for free. That means no electric bill. We'll have to do some maintenance to it, so there will still have to be some technicians. There will still have to be maintenance, but it won't be so bad that we kind of have to push people in that direction. I mean, really, solar roads, solar panels on every single roof. We will produce more electricity than we could ever possibly use. Now onto the water crisis. Some places have a shortage of water. True. I can't believe this has to be said. In Florida, in southern Florida, they were having trouble finding fresh water. You know what their solution was? They created a water desalination plant. Look it up if you don't know what I'm talking about, because I don't feel like hunting down the links to go down here. it pretty much takes the ocean water and filters out all the minerals, turning it into fresh water. Right now, all that has to be powered by gasoline, fuel. We could alter those a bit to where they run off solar, or even where they run off the water that goes to their own system. Water comes in, powers the turbine, and powers the entire filtration process. It's an endless loop. It powers itself to clean itself, etc. This will create plenty, I repeat, plenty of fresh water for the entire human race. And for those, and if, unless we turn into like 20 billion people, which will probably take a while, even with our expanded numbers, we will not put that much of a dent in the ocean doing so. I mean, desalination plants. If you take that, figure out how to make it powered, you put it in, I'm gonna go with the most pushing idea, and let's put it in South Africa. Let's put some of those in South Africa. South Africa has more water than it can use, and they're part of the UN. UN puts a doctrination where they had to give all their excess water to all the African states north of them. Then you won't have people not fighting over clean water because there's plenty of it. There's warlords up there that will probably take it. But what happens when there's so much water that the warlords just can't take it all? There's only so much people can take. So there's fresh water for people then. Put one on the other side. What was that? What was that new place? Oh yeah, the new Libya, which is now owned by France. But that's a different video. Put one there and had it going south. That's more water for Africa. There goes the entire African water storage. Just pretty much put it wherever people need fresh water. They don't have to truck it across the world just to have fresh water. This is a cheaper, more viable solution. The reason I said South Africa and the reason I said Libya, because if you put it along the edge, there's a possibility that the warlords of those nations will just take control of it and have it all to themselves. And warlords are greedy sons of bitches. I believe this is a viable solution to the water crisis in the world. Now on to the food crisis. There's people starving all over the world. Yes. U.S. does produce more food than it uses, and it sends it to Africa. True. But we can produce even more food, because you know what happens if warlords take them again. Surprise, surprise. But with the same thing with water, if we send more food than they can take, Imagine every city in every civilized country, also alongside the solar panels, that everyone grows their own community, large community farm, I guess it would be called, or garden or whatever, or have multiple little farms on every rooftop. Or hell, take those abandoned buildings in Chicago, turn them all into greenhouses. I mean, really, there's plenty of places to grow food. Oh, and go back to Chicago for a second. Detroit, which is not Chicago, it's Michigan. Detroit. Right? They're having a water problem right now. Back to the water problem for a second. Desalination plant on the Great Lakes. There you go, fixed. People they don't have to shut off water to half of the people because they're too poor to pay for the water. All that water, it becomes free. Now back to the food. If every town or city in the world wound up, or at least even in just a few of the big civilized countries, these grow their own food and shipped it out to places that needed it, that would overflood even the local warlords, so the people would have food. And we would no longer have to see those who's for a penny a day you can help this child. Because they will already be fed, they will already have water. The only thing that they will be lacking is medicine. And that's a completely different story because medicine cannot be manufactured on the cheap. Unless it's natural medicines, and then it's back to the garden idea. But this can be done. I'm just giving you a solution to the energy crisis, a solution to the food crisis, and a solution to the water crisis. Imagine if all those came together. We would have free energy. You know what that would also lead to for all of the people on the internet right now? What powers Wi-Fi right now? I'm waiting. Oh yeah, electricity. This will essentially almost make Wi-Fi free. Everywhere. Everywhere that has a Wi-Fi source, the Wi-Fi can be free. Because money, your cable or anything, that runs off electricity too. You'll be pretty much paying for service like you are now, but they can potentially cut service down because they don't have to deal with electricity problems and etc. This could potentially lead to cheaper Wi-Fi and also cheaper cable. Other benefits, say someone invents a way to convert gas-powered cars. It would probably cost quite a bit at first until we get it rolling. Convert like your your classic Dodge 69 Charger. Convert that to electricity. You'll miss the roar that you seem to get off on. But think about it. That's unlimited fuel. Would you rather roar like some bear trying to get laid? Or you prefer unlimited fuel for free? Convert the gasoline the gas stations into just a place to stop and get free, and just take the charger, put it in your car, just do. Right now, the batteries for those cars, you gotta say they're all night. Well, they are slowly trying to. They've invented a cell phone battery that charges in just like 10 minutes. Now, jump that up to a car. It'll probably take longer. It won't take 10 minutes. It might take 40, 50 at the most. It's not as quick as filling up your car with gasoline. But the insides, imagine the insides. You could then have just a mini lounge. Just there for the people. It's all powered by the free electricity. And they can sit there, just watch TV. They get on the free Wi-Fi and just derp around for 40, 50 minutes waiting for the car to charge. We'll have more time for ourselves then. We'll have to make the time, but we'll have time for ourselves. And when you get home at night, you can hook up the free electricity from your home to your car and charge it up overnight if you prefer to do that every day. This is possible, people. Do your research. And the desalination plants. Florida's already done it. It's expensive right now because it's powered by gasoline, pretty much gasoline, coal, etc. But imagine if it's powering itself in a continuous loop. Yes, there'll still be engineers there to help make sure it's running smoothly. But once it gets going, we start getting this corrected. How often do you think the engineers will have to check on it? I don't think very much, do you? Food crisis. This community gardens. That's tons and tons of food. The people are taking their own life into their own hands, with the exception of dairy products. Cows, chickens, farm animals they're a lot to deal with. I know people that had these animals. They're a lot to deal with. They need hay, they need shelter sometimes, and they just need a lot of tending to. And sometimes you just don't have the manpower to do that. So that would not become free. But carrots, potatoes, those cabbages. What else am I forgetting? Why not leeks? Onions. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Cucumbers, etc. Tomatoes. Wheat. Wheat makes bread. For all you that don't know that, wheat makes bread. For all those that don't know, wheat makes bread. And for those who like soy, it grows soybeans, etc. We'll have pretty much all the food we need. I am not a vegetarian, as you can see. I am big and chubby. I like my meat. I like meat along with my vegetables. But having some free food, some extra food. Think about this. You don't have to give up your meat. You do have to pay for your meat still. You also have to pay for your milk and cheese and whatnot, anything with dairy. But you don't have to pay for salads. You don't have to pay for anything made out of vegetables or fruits. Have an apple orchard. You get my point. Please ignore any sounds coming from there. It's someone I know. But all that food would equal solving world hunger with some to spare. Infinite water. The oceans are 70%. The entire Earth is 70% water. It's undrinkable, but why don't we fix that? The 7 billion people on the planet cannot drink the whole ocean. It will replenish itself faster than we can drink it. I believe that is true. Anyway, think about what I've said. Have a peaceful debate in the comments. And have a good day.